this is funny because I gotta tell you, I don't even know what time signature it is. To this day, I'd have done the record, played it live. I'd have to sit here and figure it out for you because it doesn't matter. I know the frame, I know the shape. So that's why I'm not counting that. I can just feel when it's coming in. I just can feel that coming up ahead of time. So yeah, I'm not really counting that. Hey, thanks.
Thank you for demonstrating and bestowing your wisdom. I have a question for the chant, though, because I've seen some of the videos with you and Coleman. You guys chanting.
Is that Adrian? What's up, man?
This is 15, by the way.
That's at 15. Does that help you?
The development of the groove, bass and snare. You got the 3 going on the ride and 2 on the hi-hat. But how did you guys come up with that? Were you bouncing that? Did you create that bass snare?
Okay, now we go. Now, see, here we go. Here we go. Now you open it up, okay? I didn't want to go here, but I'm going to go here. It's all about James Brown, okay? I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm going to put it down. James Brown is way more influential in a lot of music than he gets credit for. And this kind of thing is really out of love for his music and growing up with it. So, like, if you hear that kind of reminds me personally of put the hi-hat there. Or sprat, sprat. You know, horns be right on the snare. So the snare. So you can say that kind of came. You know? That's a little nod at James. Sometimes I put a bounce to it, or I might play a little more in a duple fill. So, I remember one time I was sitting at a picnic table. We were just hanging out. And we were sitting around beatboxing. And just playing with figures. It's like, oh, okay. Okay. I'll give you a trick. Let's say this. Here's a rhyme. Like bird and them. Say what? Repeat. Bird and them. Later to Coltrane. Say what? Repeat. Coltrane. Like bird and them. Say what? Repeat. Bird and them. Later to Coltrane. Say what? Repeat. Coltrane. Like bird and them. Say what? Repeat. Bird and them. Later to Coltrane. Say what? Repeat. Coltrane. So the repeat are 2 kicks. Repeat. Later to. Like bird and them. When you say bird and them, there's certain things that go together. Like bird and them. Say what? Repeat. Bird and them. Then there's a bongo guy. You put these components together, you got yourself a nice little chant. Like bird and them. Say what? Repeat. Bird and them. Double guy. Later. Coltrane is always Coltrane. Later to Coltrane. Say what? Repeat. Coltrane. Like Bird now. Say what? Repeat. Bird now. Later to Coltrane. Say what? Repeat. Coltrane. So you only have this in between things. Like Bird now. Say what? Repeat. Bird now. Later to Coltrane. Say what? Repeat. Coltrane. It's like some James Brown 3000 type stuff, you know, that's you sit there and talk about James and what Train said to Miles and how he talked to some. I'm telling you, that's all we do. And then we quote horn lines and horn parts. And so what do drummers do? They sit there and get together and beat their brains out. And it's like, how many drummers get together and talk about what Tony said to McLaughlin when Hendrix walked in? You know, I mean, so that's where all of this, to answer your question, Adrian, all of these beats and things we're coming up are reminding us of what we grew up with. And we're just making something new with it. Yeah, just making something new with it. And instead of trying to like the old model when he played like odd meter coming out of like, I mean, Maya Vishnu and Billy Cobham and them kicked so much butt. It was, I guess it's really still hard to get over that, period. You know, when you kick butt so hard, so strong, so fast, and then it's like, whoa, where do we go from there? That spawned a whole lot of stuff. So for us, instead of having all the music in the same meter, like Bulgarian music, you know, we were hip to that, so we were just having fun with things and seeing how playing with the short beat, long beat thing, you could do so much with so little. Just like with long, short, short, long. We can insert some of these things into that framework. Let's try it like long, short, short, long, short, short, long, long, short, short, long, short, short, long, long, short, short, long, or long, short, short, long, long, short, short, long. Make it shorter. So then that may come from spending some time with the Afro-Cubans and just hanging out with them and trying to mimic the sound. I remember when Bird was playing with some Cuban musicians. You know how most people sound like when they play with musicians they're not really familiar with the styles. They sound like that. When they get up, they sound like they're struggling to play with something they're not used to. Well, with Bird, he played with these Cuban musicians and he sounded like he'd been doing it all his life. And they were mangling some tune, the changes, and Bird was right with them. And the guy said, hey, Bird, how'd you do that? He goes, well, I just listened to the mistakes and I played the mistakes right along with them. You know, you just make music with whatever. So a lot of things you stumble across. It's not something that you're all sitting there like, we're gonna hammer this out, work this out. Maybe something you just stumble across, like some of the things I did up here that tune. That snare drum thing is again coming from that whole James Brown. to a lot of Brazilian music growing up. That has a lot to do with the way that I play and what influences me, particularly with the snare drum. Because when I would play, I hate to call it this, but music of samba, which is a dance, that style of music is, I think it's some of the most beautiful music to play, rhythmically, harmonically, melodically, all of that. There was all this mixing and stirring happening in that music with the snare drum. I played this one gig up in New York with Sergio Brandao, and Sergio's bass player played with Tanya Maria, a number of folks, a lot of records, and I said, Sergio, so do I sound like a gringo or something on this music? Like, tell me what I need to do. And they were telling me to overplay, just mix it up more and more. And I said, well, how do I sound like that without sounding like that? You know, like, I sound like I'm trying to play a solo all the time. So music is a language. So I'm like, okay, well, let's have a small talk, you know. If I had the music here, it would be a little bit more dynamic than that, but there's a lot of space to have small talk and a small rumble instead of, like, you know, trying to fill up everything. Like, I would have a hard time. There's only like a handful of percussionists that I like to play with, and those are the guys that give space to the music. Like Anga Diaz or Jesus Diaz. Alfredo Mojica here. He's one of the greatest living percussionists in the world. I've heard them all. And he's right here in Silver Spring. But people who give the language a certain style. You know, you have certain friends that have a certain style of talking. That's what I'm always trying to go for, trying to find an identity with all of this culture and all these influences that I'm dealing with. So I'm going to play a little bit more. I don't know how we're doing on time. So if there are any more questions before I keep going, I guess I'll play. Okay. I want to ask some people, okay, so how many professionals we have here today? Professional musicians in the house. That means you've been paid $1 to play music. Okay, there we go. You're still waking up. All right. Well, some of the things when you find playing instrumental music, I'm going to ask you a question. When you're playing, like when you have a chance to play strictly instrumental music, what kind of music are you finding that people are playing these days?
I play Bollywood style.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? You know, R&B. What's going on? Bebop.
I think a lot of the club scenes are classic rock now.
Uh-huh.
There's at least in the
happened to the funk?
Like I say, the circles that are running around.
All right. Okay, here's something. Ooh, I like those 13s. Okay, lucky number 13. We're gonna go with a duple chant at 13 here. So basically, the figure I'm going to play here, this is our chant. You hear the meter against that? I'm leaving the hi-hat out on purpose.
Yeah.
Let me hear you clap the meter. 1, 2, ready, and. I ain't messing with y'all. Okay.